What's going on, guys? It is Livid Fray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today, and welcome back to another episode of Just the Good Stuff, where I show you only the good stuff from the vendor restocks each week. For today's video, we are starting off inside Camp Clinton instead of the terminal. So starting off inside Camp Clinton, the vendor has the 5.52 holo sight available again. This has been for sale a couple weeks in a row, I think. I generally always recommend buying this. It's a really good attachment for your weapons, more specifically your ARs. Next, the special equipment vendor over inside Camp Clinton has a Cassidy with responsive. You can just roll off this other talent for whatever you want. You can do deadly or unforgiving, whatever you think would work best. Cassidy works out really well with PvP Lone Star. It's really fun to use. I would highly recommend checking it out. The next vendor we're heading over to is Camp Hudson. When you make it to Camp Hudson, you're going to want to check out the gear vendor. This vendor is selling a stamina mod. This is our only damage to elite mod this week at 200 stamina with 3% damage to elites. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky with another 4%, but I mean, we had those two electronic 4% ones pretty close together, so I think we're due for a 3% instead of a 4. This one is a really good mod though if you don't have any stamina ones available to you guys yet. Our next vendor is going to be the Last Call Safe House. The Last Call is going to have an Omega rifle suppressor for sale with 18 headshot, 2.5 chance, and 2 accuracy. Not the absolute maxed out rolls that you can get, but they are very solid. If you don't have any headshot Omega rifle suppressors, I do recommend buying these ones. There are 2 for sale this week, and we're going to get to the other one later. The next safe house is going to be the Ward. This vendor has an inventive backpack for sale. It already has a high skill power roll with ammo capacity. You can just change the main stat over to a good electronics roll. Definitely, I recommend the inventive backpack, especially when you're using the sticky bomb. This one's going to give you the most damage output for sure. Our next vendor is going to be located at DZ East 64th Street. This vendor has a 267 Firearms mod on 1% critical hit chance, as well as a 2% pulse critical hit chance performance mod. We have not seen a mod at 267 with a 1% crit chance in a really long time. It's really rare to get rolls like this, so I would definitely recommend buying at least 5 of these for one character or more if necessary. And then I always recommend the pulse critical hit chance and damage mods, but I'm probably going to start laying off of these because they are generally pretty common to find. I would just recommend keeping an eye on the reset sheet instead from now on, because I'm probably going to be holding off on showing these to you guys in the resets unless the resets in general are pretty subpar. So just keep an eye out for these in the future. Our next vendor is going to be located at DZ East 53rd Street. This vendor has that other Omega rifle suppressor that we were mentioning earlier, and it has 18% headshot, 4.5 optimal, and 4% critical hit damage. Generally, I would probably recommend this one over the other one that was for sale earlier. The other one just doesn't have maxed out rolls. This one at least has maxed out critical hit damage on there, as well as optimal range, pairing very well with headshot damage. I think that this is your better option. However, you are going to be spending Dark Zone credits on this, so that's completely up to you. They are both really good attachments, so if you don't have one, either one of them will work really well. Our next vendor is going to be located in the DZ04 Saferoom, so I'm going to head over there and then I will meet you guys there. Alright, I've made it to the DZ04 Saferoom. This vendor has a really good electronics mod at 264 with 3,112 skill power. This works out really well with any kind of tactician build, and more specifically Reclaimer. If you are wanting to give your station the most heal that it could possibly have, these ones work really, really well. Our next vendor is going to be located at DZ East 42nd Street. This vendor has a 5% ballistic shield damage resilience mod. I think that these work out a lot better for D3 FNC builds. They just offer you the best bonus out of the ones that are available for the shield. Aside from 4% shield damage, I think that these ones are going to be the best option, especially if you're wanting to lean more towards a pure tank build. This one is just going to give you the most benefit. Our next location is going to be Dark Zone West 34th Street. This vendor has another performance mod with 2% pulse critical hit damage. Like I mentioned, I am going to be mentioning these performance mods less and less just because I think that they're way too common. I don't think that I need to be letting you guys know whenever they're for sale. I will mention them if the reset in general was a bit subpar. That way I can at least tell you guys that there was something decent for sale. Otherwise, I would just keep an eye on the vendor reset spreadsheet. I personally help with volunteering to update this spreadsheet every Friday. So if you want to keep an eye out on that, the link to the spreadsheet will be in the description of this video. And I think I have it set to be in the description of all of my videos. So make sure to check that out. And our last vendor is going to be located on Dark Zone West 39th Street. This vendor has a loud vent break that's 19% critical hit damage. This is maxed out critical hit damage with 6% headshot and 5% optimal range. We unfortunately don't have critical hit chance here, but optimal range is still a really good option. So I would definitely recommend picking this up if you don't have any loud vent breaks available just yet. That's going to be everything for this this week's vendor reset. Hopefully there's some items that you guys will be picking up. I think that the Dark Zone had pretty much like the best options this week, starting off with that Firearms mod 267, 1 crit chance. Make sure you guys grab that. We don't see those very often. Some of the veteran players were saying that they've only ever seen 2 of those for sale at the vendors before. So 267 on a rare attribute is pretty interesting to see. So make sure you guys pick those up and let me know what else you guys picked up this week. But if you didn't like this week, there is always next week. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day.
Can't believe the bullshit that went down in the Dark Zone at the end there.
I know. We had it. Everything I told them was dead on. They made us pull out anyway.
And we left our dead behind.
Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Hang on a second.